What's up, guys? We're here today to look at a deck that we haven't really profiled on the channel yet, and that is Metagross GX, this 250 HP super tank. He's a metal type Pokemon with a fire weakness and a 3 energy retreat cost. With the ability Geotech System, once per turn you may attach a psychic or metal energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon, and we use this to power up his attacks, which for 2 metal and a colorless does 150 damage. Giga Hammer can't be used again on your next turn. The GX attack for a colorless, Algorithm GX, searches your deck for any 5 cards and puts them into your hand to shuffle your deck afterwards. And then you just pray that your opponent doesn't play an N. So, not a great GX attack, but pretty decent. The GX attack I think of preference in this deck is Tapu Cure GX. Heals all damage from 2 of your benched Pokemon. So the idea here is we tank it out with this Metagross, and when he's taken a bit of damage, we retreat him to the bench, we Tapu Cure all that damage off, and then we continue on our merry way. So we play 2 Psychic for that Tapu Cure. You'll see we're playing a 4-2-4 line of the Metagross. So to find the pieces we need, we have 2 Alolan Vulpix, our preferred starter in the deck, for an energyless attack, letting us search our deck for 2 Pokemon and putting those into our hand. We play 4 Rare Candy, so we can skip the middle evolution, going straight from the Beldum to the Metagross. So we do just play the 2 Metang. We also play 1 Heavy Ball to help us find this hefty 3 retreated Pokemon if and when we need him. And we play a Skylar to find those pieces, the Heavy Ball or the Rare Candy for the bits we need. If we happen to lose one of our Pokemon, we have 1 Rescue Stretcher to get it back, and then 4 Ultra Ball to find the pieces we need for our puzzle, as well as to get Metal Energy in the discard pile to use with Geotech System. Once our Metagross is attacked for 150 or 180 with a Choice Band, if he's attacking a GX or EX, we would then retreat that Pokemon to the bench, discarding the 3 energy, reattaching them with the ability, and then max potioning all that damage off on the bench. And that is really the concept of the deck. We are pretty ability focused, so we play 2 Field Blower to help us out against Garbatox and Garbodor. We only play a count of 3 via Seeker to get back our supporters. Those supporters we need are one of the 2 Bridget to set us up in the beginning of the game. Play a count of 2 because I believe it's quite important to hit that turn 1. 1 Hex Maniac to help us out against some awkward matchups when it comes to Greninja and Volcanion, although that is pretty much an abysmal match, so we'll just take the loss there if we don't overcome them. 2 Lysander to pull up a Pokemon on our opponent's bench. Play a full count of N here. We play a lot of critical pieces we don't want to lose, so we play 4 N and 3 Sycamore instead of the other way around. The Skylar I've already mentioned, and we play 1 Pokemon Ranger to reset that restriction of Giga Hammer so we're able to re-attack on the next turn. 8 Metal Energy and 2 Psychic Energy. And that is the deck profile, pretty straightforward, nothing too dissimilar to what you would have seen in some of the major tournaments. And we'll save that up, and then we will jump onto the versus ladder and see if we can catch a quick game with the deck. Alright, so we are up against a Fighting Colorless deck. Fighting Colorless Psychic, sorry. And let's see what Killzak has got for us. Killzak's gonna call the coin flip. What does he get? We won the coin flip, so we will get to go first, which is awesome. Assuming we start with something decent. We do start with a Vulpix, which is great, and a Beldum for the bench. We have Bridget in our hand, and a Sycamore for the next turn. So, all around a pretty good start. The deck really showing what it's able to do here. So, I'm going to Bridget. Getting out 2 Beldum. Getting those guys onto the bench, so we have prized 1 of them. Are we at risk of being knocked out here? Probably not. I am most likely going to attach to the active. That way when I retreat, that energy goes into the discard, and I can use it to reattach with the ability Geotech System. Our opponent's going to Kukui here, so I must have a pretty dead hand. Starting with that Shaman. Does he have anything he can do? Let's have a look. A Lele comes down. I'm not sure why he didn't play that first. But he must have drawn that off the 2 cards on the Kukui. Gonna Wonder Tag. And I imagine get an N for the next turn. Let's have a look. Probably taking some time to search his deck. A Skylar. Huh, interesting. Alright. I'm gonna Sky Return for 50 because of that Kukui. So. Interesting. Interesting. Well, do we want to end our opponent here? I think we do. It was unusual to take a Skylar. I'm not sure why you would take a Skylar over anything else. So I'm definitely going to play an N here. It's really weird. And I would like to hang on to these cards, so let's play an N. Alright, I'm going to attach to the bench, and then I'm going to Beacon. I'm going to get out a Matang, and another Matang, I think. Just 2 Matangs should be fine. We can look to hit 1 rare candy on the next turn, but at a minimum we can get that middle stage evolution up and running if we need to. So Hooper coming down. So it is a Rayquaza deck. The fighting, maybe a Sudowoodo, I'm not sure what it is. Double colorless to the active, Spirit Link to the bench. So the interesting thing here is that our opponent will be able to hit the 260 mark with 8 on the bench because he plays a Kukui. Ultra Ball, going to discard 2 cards, search his deck for a Pokemon. So 2 energy in the discard, 1 Mega Turbo, a Float Stone. Very late here, so you can forgive my yawning. Mega Turbo onto the bench. And I would imagine our opponent will go for the knockout here. Yep. So now we have a really difficult choice. I'm going to put the Beldum up and gonna hope and pray. So let's choice band this dude. And we're going to evolve these 2 dudes. 1 and 2. And then we are going to play an N. Hoping to hit a Rare Candy, Metagross, and a Metal Energy. What are the chances? A Field Blow would be nice as well. So we get none of that. Awesome. Well, that's pretty bad. But I'm going to Core Beam here for 50. Discarding that Metal Energy into the discard. So 2 in the discard. Forcing our opponent to either attach another to the Lele or retreat it into the bench. So he's going to attach to the active. Weirdly, unless he's planning on retreating and using a Mega Turbo. Mallow. Okay, so it is the Mallow variant of the deck. With some unknowns, I would imagine, to get exactly the cards that he needs. Alright, so putting any 2 cards he wants on the top. Shaman to draw those 2. Sudowoodo comes down. Mega Turbo onto the bench. And Energy Drive for the knockout. Okay, well, at this point it is very much a YOLO situation, so we're going to evolve the active. Going to play an N. Get another Metagross down on the bench. Little Geotech system. Geotech system again. And we will Giga Hammer for the knockout, going down to 4 prize cards. Our opponent will be able to retaliate here at a minimum 480. With 6 on the bench. Ultra Ball, so we're looking at 210. Just needs a Kukui here. See what he gets with this Ultra Ball. Maybe an unknown. Who knows? It's unknown. Alright, so a Layla coming down. Does he play another Kukui? Surely not. Double colors to the active Hex Maniac. Okay. And an Emerald Break for 180. Interesting. So that Hex is definitely going to be a problem. But we're going to play a Ranger. And we can Ultra Ball here. Getting rid of an Ultra Ball, and actually let's get rid of let's get rid of 2 Lysander. And we've got a Lele. For the next turn, no more Beldum left in the deck, so we can Giga Hammer here for the knockout. I mean, not the knockout, for 180. So tired. I'm thinking it's a knockout. So we are 40 damage short. But it does put our opponent under some pressure. I doubt they were expecting the Ranger. Special charge, going to shuffle 2 double colors back in the deck, but there's only 1 in the discard. So getting that energy back in deck and then instructing for 2 more cards. What does he have for us here? Attaching to the bench. And Emerald Break for the knockout. So we're in a pretty awkward position now. We don't really have a way to win this game. So let's see. We're going to attach here. I am really tempted to just play a Sycamore here. And I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play a Sycamore here. Discarding our hand and drawing 7 new cards. Alright, so we hit the energy we need. We can Geotech onto the active. But our opponent just needs to hit the Mega and another basic, and they are good to go on the knockout. So let's see what happens. We missed the field blower that I was hoping to get, so that's pretty unfortunate. And considering we do play 2 in the deck, he does put the Rayquaza up, so most likely he's got the Spirit Link, Mega, and Energy here. to get the Beldum off the prizes. We've only used one rare candy. Alright, so he does get a Lele. Probably going to go for a Sycamore, I would imagine. That would be sensible. Going for an N. It's unusual. He can instruct and get his hand back up to 3. But it seems pretty risky to me, playing an N. We're going to go down to 2 as well. We get the Field Blower, which is quite nice. Can instruct for 1 more card. Does he get the pieces he needs? And just Intensifying Burn for 10 damage. Alright, so I'm going to Field Blower here, putting our opponent's bench down to something smaller for a change. And then I think we will need to Geotech to the active and go for an energy drive here. If only we'd put the choice band on the active, we would have been doing more damage. Does he have the pieces he needs to win this game? There comes the Skyfield. Does he have a Dragonite? Something like that. A Lysander, okay. That's a card. And Intensifying Burn, so. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have a way of switching. I'm actually going to Algorithm this turn and get out the pieces of the puzzle we need here. So that would be a Field Blower, a Beldum, a Rare Candy, a Versus Seeker, a Metal Energy. Should be fine for now. Let's see what our opponent's able to do here. Can they hit the pieces they need? Gonna play an N, so our Algorithm will be wasted. If only we played an Escape Rope, that would be awesome. So he's going to instruct here for 1 more. How many Spirit Links are in the discard? 3 Spirit Links. It's unlikely he has another. So just going to evolve. And now I think we are in some trouble. We have no more energy in the discard, so I'm going to Skylar for a Sycamore. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that is the best option we have right now. And I'm going to Heavy Ball just to get this out of the hand. Make sure we don't draw back into it. And then we're going to pass the turn. Onto our opponent's side. Do they find the last bits and pieces that they need? He gets the energy. Instructs for 1. Can do 150 here. We played 2 Ultra Ball So we need a way of discarding an energy and attaching an energy. Gonna versus Seeker here for a Hex Maniac, and that's gonna probably be the game for us. No real way to get out of this one other than max potioning. So let's see if we can hit that max potion. We do, so I'm gonna use it. Sycamore, discarding our hand. Alright, so we get the stretcher. Gonna attach to the active. Gonna stretcher a Beldam up from the discard. See if we can get one more Metagross online. And we pass the turn. Been a real game of back and forth here. Both of us kind of just dead drawing. So if he can fill his bench up and hit a Kukui, he can win the game. With 3 cards in hand, is that possible? Gonna rescue Stretcher, getting back, what, a Hooper? Gonna go for the Lele. What does he Lele for? Sycamore, maybe? He doesn't play Hex here, and he doesn't take the knockout. We can versus Seeker, so he's going for the Skylar. I'm not sure what he's going to Skylar for now. Ultra Ball, alright. An Ultra Ball for the Dragonite. That only gets him to 240. Ultra Balling for the Hooper. Hoopering, and play down a Shaman. Shaman set up for 6 cards. Does he have a way of hitting 250 here? Can't see it personally, but you never know. We do have the 1 in the discard and the 1 in hand. Gonna retreat into the Sudowoodo and just pass. And we will Geotech onto the active. Attached to the active. Versus Seeker. Getting the Lysander out of the discard. And we will bring up that Shaman on the bench. And we'll win that game. So both of us kind of drawing badly there, but as you see, that 250 HP is just so hard to get over. Our opponent did even play the Kukui if they needed to get there, but because they played it early on in the game and needed to play other supporters throughout the game, they just couldn't use it. So hopefully that was a really quick and short overview of the deck. I'm not going to play any more games. It is really late. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, if you guys could comment and like on the videos and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. Cheers, guys. A huge shout out to our sponsors, the Battle Bunker, Ultimate Guard, and Evolue for designing our animation.